let's have a woman to woman, not in that way, but let's talk about some things. Hello beautiful people, it's your girl Kerry Kerry, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I focus on fashion, lifestyle, beauty and travel, so if that is something you are interested in, I'd love to have you come and join the crew. So don't hesitate, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a post. Welcome back to my oldies but goodies. Today's video is a little bit different. We're sitting down, doing our makeup, and we're gonna have a talk, okay? I have not done one of these videos in forever, so we're gonna be doing that today. I will make sure to list everything that I'm using in the description box and try as best as possible to also pop up the name on the screen for you guys, just so that you can have everything. So let's go ahead and grab your water, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your drink of choice. Today I am having water. And let's get straight into this video. Alrighty, so today's video is, I'm not gonna say a life update, but just like telling you guys a little bit more of me, why I got into content creation, how I got into creating content, and what pushed me to leave my teaching job of 17 years. Yes, you heard correct. So if you're new here, I am a former teacher. I taught elementary math and science. Half of that time was in Jamaica teaching 6th grade, 5th grade, the kids that sit the test to move on to high school. And then I moved here 13 years ago, and teaching was all I knew, so I just continued to do that. And 2 years ago I stepped away to pursue content creation full-time, not necessarily because I really wanted to do that, or because I hated my job. I actually really enjoyed my job as a teacher, but I was sick. I was sick and needed to step away so that I could take care of me. And I'm also going to say that as women, we try to be strong and, oh, I have to do this for my family, I have to do this for my job, but you are important as well, okay? So yes, do we need our family? Of course we do. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it for your family, but do it for you. Let you be the center. Do it for you, and then you are able to help everyone else around you. Because if you are not strong, if you are not healthy, if you are not in the right frame of mind, you are not going to be able to help anybody, okay? So a little backstory, real quick. I am from Jamaica, the beautiful parish of St. Catherine, because everybody is not from Kingston, okay? They're not. Kingston is the smallest parish. Everybody not come from Kingston. Like I stated before, I moved here 13 years ago because this is where my family lives. Well, quite a bit of my family lives here in Florida, so I was traveling back and forth from Jamaica, and then I was like, okay, it's time for me to stay one place, basically. So moved here. I went to St. Joseph's Teachers College in Jamaica, so I've never been to school in the US before. I came here with my degrees and years of service. I had to get my degrees, everything where school is concerned, I had to get them evaluated just so that they could see that it's equivalent to their requirements for me to be able to teach here as well. So while that was taking place, I worked as a customer service representative at a pharmaceutical company for a year until all of those things were sorted out, and then I went straight into to teaching. Started teaching at 3rd grade because I wanted to get my feet wet and see what the system was like before I was like, oh, I'm gonna teach 5th grade, which I'm normally used to. I'm not used to teaching like the younger kids in the elementary system. I'm normally 4th grade. In Jamaica, elementary is still 6th grade for us, but here it ends at 5th. But I also didn't want to teach 5th grade either because I was like, I'm not sure how I would do there because I'm like fresh out of Jamaica, stern and all. I still am, but I was like, let me start at like a neutral spot and then I can move up. But when my principal called Jamaica for my reference, she called in the middle of the night, maybe about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. She apologized so many times for calling so late, but she was like, I have to call this late. Do you want to teach 5th grade? And I was like, no. I was like, why? I already told you 3rd grade. She was like, I called Jamaica and I spoke with Miss Williams, who's the principal at your former place of work. And she tells me how amazing you were with the testing grade. I'm like, 3rd grade is a testing grade as well. I will definitely stay in 3rd grade. So she was like, I really want you in 5th grade. I'm like, no, ma'am. No. No, it's not gonna happen. So we stayed at 3rd grade. The following year, I taught PE. Yes. I taught PE. I loved it. In Jamaica, we're extra when it comes on to schooling and all of that. So I did all the practical subjects, drama, PE, art, music, you name it. I have it. Okay? So I taught PE the 2nd year. I was just like going everywhere, testing out to see what I like. So I did PE. I loved it, but they didn't want me to teach PE. They wanted me in the classroom. They're like, you're an amazing teacher. So the following year I started to teach 4th grade. So this is my 3rd year being a teacher here. I went to 4th grade and that's where I was until I left. So that's the backstory in terms of like work. In terms of personal, married to the one and only Mr. Spence, who you guys see here occasionally because he loves the behind the scenes. He's always taking my pictures. He helps me with video content sometimes, especially if it is a sponsored post, but he is not like deep into the whole content creation thing. That's not his thing. Okay, you guys have seen my sister here sometimes. That's my girl. Okay, she's the one who encouraged me to get into creating fashion content. She's like, you should create a blog. I'm like, what is that? What does that entails? And then she explained it, and my husband was like, you should do it for real. So I got up hot one day and created my own blog on WordPress, and it's been what, 8 years since I created that blog. So June of this year, 8 years since I created Cass Styles, because that was my social handle before I changed it to my real name. And I had the handle Cass Styles for a while. My sister is still upset that I changed my social handle to my real name, even though it was the acronym for or abbreviation for my name, Kerry Scott Spence. That's where the Cass came from, and then I just added the Styles. But every time I go out, people would always call me Cass, and people still do, and I'm like, that's not really my name. So I went ahead and changed it to my real name, I think last year. Yeah. My sister hasn't gotten over it yet, but she needs to. Tell her she needs to. So I know I shared briefly on here that I have fibroids, and that was the reason why I ended up leaving my job as a teacher. Like I stated earlier, it wasn't because I hated my job or my co-workers or admin. I absolutely loved my team, loved admin. I remember one, and some of this is gonna be a little bit TMI, so if this is not something that you want to listen to or hear, you can always just like scroll past. I won't mind at all. I just feel like I have had this community of women who support me, like every single time I post something, whether it's fashion related, whatever it is, you guys support me through and through. And me mentioning the other day how I have fibroids, and that's what caused me to leave my job. I knew I had, not necessarily that I had to come and explain the situation, but I wanted to just carry on that conversation. I wanted us to have this conversation because not many people have this conversation. And when I learned that I had fibroids, I really didn't see much about it. So I definitely had to like learn and go through the things, the bad, the good. What, none of it is good. The bad things, to learn what fibroids was all about. So that's why I'm like, I have a platform, and if I can use it to educate even one person or uplift one person who's going through the same thing, who's been through this, then that's good enough for me. So if this is not something that you want to hear, you can definitely scroll by. Okay, good. Now that we've gotten that out the way, I learned that I had fibroid like right before COVID. And at that time, I only had one. It was very small. When I say small, I mean really small. And so my doctors weren't too concerned about it. Yes, they knew it was there. It wasn't even bothering me either. we just did ultrasound and we saw it, and I was told that if it's not bothering me, then it's fine, and it wasn't. My cycle was still good. The level of like cramps and pain and stuff was still the same, nothing too crazy. A little cramp here and there, and I'll take and leave, and I'll be okay. Like I said, nothing too crazy. We went through COVID, and that's when I started this channel. I started this channel December 2019. Yeah. And so we didn't, not to say that we didn't pay any mind or anything, but it wasn't nothing too dramatic. Then fast forward to 2022, it grew. And I remember at the top of the year, my hemoglobin was at 12 something. Very good, no issues. And for 2023, when I tell you, it's like it was a complete 360. It's like everything went left. That fibroid moved, and it went and it lodged in the V down there. And then, as my doctor would call it, birthed 3 more. So I now have 4. When I tell you, sleepless nights, the pain was unbearable. My gynecologist prescribed medication for me to take when my cycle came on. My body got so used to that medication that it no longer worked. My cycle was on for weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. If it comes on for a week, I better not be too excited, because the following week it was gonna come right back like it wasn't just on. And when I tell you the pain was unbearable, the pain was unbearable. My husband, thank God for my husband, okay? Nobody can tell me nothing about my husband. Nobody. He would have to come and pick me up at work every single month. I could not show up to work, and my cycle was on, and admin didn't know. My team didn't know, because I would have to leave. I would have to leave. I remember the last time he came for me, the police officer who was stationed at our school, he was like, the next time we're not calling Mr. Spence, we're calling the ambulance, because you are gonna go to the hospital. I'm like, they can't do anything for me. There's nothing that they can do for me. It was that bad. The pain would wake me out of my sleep. I'm kicking, screaming in the middle of the night because the pain was so unbearable. Like, my husband has threatened so many times to take me to the emergency room. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not going. And so at the top of the year, when it started to get that crazy, I was like, I'm no longer gonna do after school, because I was doing after school. I was one of the after school coordinators. So I gave them my notice that I will no longer be doing this. I am going to focus on creating more content so that I can go home and take care of myself. I knew I had to do surgery. We started to talk about how we can make this easier for me, and that would be for me to do surgery. And so Abby and I sat down, we talked about what this would look like. So I started to like go even harder. I started to create more content. I was already getting brand collabs, which was very good, because I now know that, okay, I can make money doing this, and I can go home and take care of myself, because I need to do that. Because if I don't do that, I'm not going to be able to take care of anybody or do anything for anybody, as a matter of fact. Close friends and family didn't even know that I was going through so much. It's like I was suffering in silence, and the only people who knew, well, my husband. My sister found out that it was very bad. One day I went to her job. She works at Bloomingdale's, and they had a fashion show, and I was an invited guest, and they told me that I could invite friends. So I invited my friends to this fashion show, and after the fashion show we went to have lunch. So we walked across the mall, went to have lunch. I took my medication because I knew that I was going to be out all day. My cycle was on. While driving to Miami, I put on a dress because the outfit I was going to wear was this linen suit. I'll try to see if I can find it and pop it up for you. And so I was like, I have to wear something else so that I don't get my clothes crushed. So by the time I get there, I'm going to be looking like a crushed callaloo. So when we got to the restaurant, I went to the restroom, changed into a new sanitary pad and everything. The one that goes from the front to the back. Okay? Sat down, we ate, we had a good time. My friend Sasha was like, I'm not gonna let you guys walk all the way back across the mall. I'll go ahead and drop you guys to your car in the parking garage. So we were like really happy because we had heels on and everything. So I hopped in the front of her car, and it was like 3 other people in the back. Sasha's driving. When we got to the parking garage and I got up, my entire butt was covered with blood. And my friends knew I had fibroids, but they did not know the extent of this. My entire butt was covered in blood. It was a good thing Sasha's truck was had leather seats. And you guys have seen Sasha on the channel before. When I tell you, all the ladies, like, their mouths were wide open. They in that moment, I found sisterhood, and I'm trying not to cry. In that moment, I found sisterhood. In that moment, I knew I had friends who not necessarily understood what I was going through, because I don't think if you like feel the pain and all the things that you really like know. But they saw me and they were like, Kerry. And I was like, this is just a random day in my life. This happens all the time. But they saw it firsthand. And when I tell you, they spoke life into me. They talked to me. They're like, we're gonna get you cleaned up. Do you have a change of clothes? It was so bad. I bought this like big like thing from Amazon, and it has like partitions for the back of your vehicle. And I had everything in there: towels, rag, underwear, change of clothes, everything. And I had to drive around with this like all the time. And Kim, you've seen Kim on this channel before too. She's a nurse. She was like, she came out, she was like, come on, we have to get you changed. and get yourself together so that you can get home before this gets worse. And worse was what happened. I changed my clothes, put that outfit in a plastic bag and put it in my trunk. I went back into Bloomingdale's to tell my sister that I had to leave, go home. She looked at me. She was like, "Where's your clothes?" So I told her what happened, and I remember Milton had asked me to pick up something for him in H&M, and I ran into H&M, picked up what he asked me to pick up. I wasn't even in there for 10 minutes. And while standing at the register, I felt the pain coming from the bottom of my stomach. And I rushed back into Bloomingdale's to tell sister I'm gonna go because I can already feel the pain coming on and I cannot take the medication again for right now. I have to wait a couple hours. And so she was like, okay. By the time I'm like hugging her, I can feel me I can feel me going to throw up. And I'm like, so I grabbed the H&M bag and I'm running to the bathroom, and she opened the bag. She's like, the bag is right here. When I tell you, I was just throwing up nonstop. Like all the food I ate, everything, I was throwing up nonstop. That little corner in Bloomingdale's covered with vomit. And my sister was like, and when I tell you I'm throwing up, blood is gushing beneath me like I'm peeing on myself. I'm in pain, cold sweat, everything. And so she was like, she called her assistant and she was like, you're gonna have to take over for me because I have to take my sister home. She had to call her husband to take a Uber to come to her job so he could drive her car home, and she drives my car. We stopped at Walgreens so I could get eating pad because that does help with the pain. I didn't even know when she stopped at her house. I only knew when we were getting off the highway to get to my house because I cried myself to sleep because I was in so much pain. My sister had to drive me home, and that day was the day that she realized how much I was enduring having fibroids. She could not believe that these are the things that I've been going through, that this is just a regular day for me. So those things, throwing up, messing up myself, became like the norm. It had gotten to the point where I was scared to go outside. Like, if you didn't invite me to something, it would be okay. I would not feel any type of way because of what I was going through. And it started to take a toll on me, on my mental health. The moment I'm supposed to leave my house, I would, like, my stomach would be rolling, my head's hurting, my head is spinning. And speaking of head spinning, I passed out in the shower because my iron levels had dropped like to the floor. I went from a 12 something in December to June or July, it was below 7. I went to my doctor's appointment, and my appointment is about like 30 to 45 minutes away from my house. Again, my husband was home, and when I got to the doctor, he said, call your husband because you are not going home right now. I'm sending you to the emergency room to get an emergency blood transfusion. And I was looking at him like, he was like, you aren't even supposed to be driving, operating like heavy machinery, none of that stuff. And it was all because I was losing so much blood from bleeding each month. It's like essentially I was bleeding out. Sometimes it felt like I was peeing on myself. And I know I warned y'all about this gonna be like really TMI, but I have no other way to like explain it. I'm sorry. But those are the things that I was going through. And like I said, this became the norm. The last full episode happened when I went to Las Vegas for my 40th birthday. My cycle had been on for 2 weeks, and it was, when I left home, it was like dwindling, practically nothing really. And the night of the concert, we were going to the Usher concert. I did vlog it and I have it on the channel here, so I'll just maybe like insert a link with it, so if you guys want to go watch it. But we were on our way to the concert. It was Usher's residency, and while in the Uber I felt a rush, and I closed my eyes and I was like, oh my God. But I didn't say anything. I didn't say it out loud or nothing. So in the Uber was me, my sister-in-law that passed away. God, may her soul rest in peace. And my sister, we were all in the Uber together. So we pulled up to the to where the concert was, and I felt another rush, and immediately I knew what was up. I was like, I may have to take a Uber and get back home and get back to the hotel, because this is not gonna cut it. But I was like, let me at least go to the bathroom and see what's going on. So once we get in, I gave my sister my purse and stuff and tell her to hold on to it. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and I'll be right back. I kind of explained to her what was going on before I left. So if she didn't see me come back within a certain time, that she would come and check on me. I went to the bathroom, and the moment I pulled my pants down, mind you, I'm in like sexy clothes. I'm in like, I'll try to pop up a picture of my outfit. I'm in like a full-on like tight suit, like suck on kind of girl body, you know. I'm saying nobody like me. I feel really good, really sexy, because 40 and fabulous. What are you talking about? Blood clots were, the moment I could get a chance to get my pants down and to sit on the toilet, blood clots were just like falling out. Like, you know, when somebody is practicing for a tennis game and they have those like automatic things that shoot the balls out, pop, pop, yeah. And I'm not exaggerating. I promise you I'm not. I can laugh at it now, but I promise you I am not exaggerating. It was that bad, okay? It was that bad. I held my head And I was like, what in the world is this? My cycle is supposed to be off. Mind you, my birthday is the 27th. This is the 28th of October. My surgery date is November 3rd. And I'm like, they're worried because I was like, I hope they don't put my surgery off because the cycle came back on. And girl, when I tell you, everything went left, okay? So I got myself together. I had on a panty shield. That's all I had on. And it was just because. It wasn't because the cycle was on why I had a panty shield on. I just had it on just because that's what I was accustomed to, especially because of me having the fibroids. I don't know when and where something was gonna pop off. So that was one of those days. And so I went back out and I told my sister what was happening, and they were in line to get something to drink, and I told them I didn't want anything because if this is happening already, I'm not gonna drink alcohol and make it worse. And so I didn't get anything to drink. But while we were standing in line again, I felt the rush again. And this time I was sure that my outfit was a mess. And so I grabbed onto Hope and she took her jacket off because she had on like a long sleeve jacket. She took her jacket off and she's like, put this around you just in case your clothes is messed up so that nobody else like sees it. And I went back to the bathroom, and this time the blood had caught my clothes just a little bit, not nothing crazy. And so my sister was like walking around trying to see if they have, like, you know, those machines where they have we can buy sanitary napkins, but they didn't have any. And so we were like, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna have to go back to the hotel. And so I started to grab these like big, thick, like long tissue things to like just put in my underwear just so I can get back to the hotel. And see if I could like get myself together and come back before the concert starts, because we weren't staying far away. But then while my sister was in there with me, she saw this lady comes in with like a tote bag, and she walked up to that lady and she was like, ma'am, I have an emergency. Do you happen to have any sanitary pads in your bag? I think that lady was God sent. And she was like, oh, I can help you. I can definitely help you. And she went into her bag and she was pulling out all different kinds of sanitary pads. The long ones I use, the little thin ones. She even gave my sister tampons, okay? And I can't wear those. But she gave her tampons, all different sizes of pads, and I'm like, how did she get in here with that bag? Because they're checking bags at the door, and you aren't supposed to have like a big bag. But when I tell you, when God is showing up for you, you can get into anywhere with anything, okay? And trust me, she got in there with that bag and she gave my sister one of each, and she passed it to me, and that's how I was able to even be at the concert and not bleeding through my clothes. Yeah. And so again, my sister got to see a second time what I've been going through for months until it was time for my surgery. I did surgery November 3rd, 2023, and it's August 2025, and those little monsters are coming back. You hear me? Those little monsters are coming back. I did a laparoscopic myomectomy, so robotic. So they didn't have to give me that cut like a C-section, just some little slits on the tummy area in the navel and on the side to go in with the robotic arms to get them out. But yes, the little monsters are coming back, but I am better equipped this time around. Not to say I want to go through all of what I've been through already with these things, but I'm in a better frame of mind, and I know more about it now than I did before. And I also have you guys who constantly just like checking on me, encouraging me, sending me all your tips and stuff. I absolutely adore you guys more than you know. Okay, so surgery day came around. I came back from Las Vegas, and I had a campaign with Walmart. I had 2 campaigns with Walmart. One I accepted while I was in Vegas because I wasn't sure that I was gonna get the surgery done since my cycle came back on, and so I accepted it. And I had one that I was working on before that I needed to submit the day before my surgery. I was working on that campaign to submit it, and my doctor's office called to say that I'm gonna have to come in that day, that evening, the day before the surgery, because I may have to get a blood transfusion before the surgery, because I'm gonna be under anesthesia, and they didn't want anything to happen because my blood levels were low. And I immediately just went into panic mode because I was like ready for this to be over. And so she was like, I'm gonna speak with doctor and I'll give you a call back in a few. And she did. She called back later that evening. She was like, you don't have to come in this evening. What we're gonna do, we're gonna have the blood on hand just in case we need it. You can always have it. And so that was kind of, even though I was still a bit like nervous about it, that gave me a little bit more like reassurance, because trust me, I was like, this is not happening right now, because I'm ready for this to be like over with, so I can at least recover and start to just like feel like myself again. Surgery the next day went great. We went in 6:30 in the morning, and my husband and my best friend came with me. She was here like 4:30 in the morning, like, let's go. So my friend, she was like, let's go. So she came so she could be able to sit with Obi while he waits for me to get out of surgery. And surgery went great. And here we are, almost 2 years later. I went to the doctor the other day because we've been keeping up with it, but I can also feel in my body. I knew that they were coming back because my cycle started to change again. Nothing, absolutely nothing like it was before. But I could feel the difference, the flow, the pain. And so I had to go back to the doctor. I'm like, these little minions are trying to make their way back, but we ain't doing that, okay? We are not doing that with them at all. We aren't playing those games, okay? So we are keeping close watch and monitoring them just to make sure that they don't get out of hand like they did the last time. So that's my long story, and I could tell you like so much more oral stories but that's basically why and how I got into doing this content creation thing full time. The fibroids literally pushed me, and I remember I took only a year off because that was the plan. The plan, take a year off, get myself together, do surgery, feel like myself again, and then go back. Okay? But at the beginning of May 2024, my school's secretary called, and I missed the call because I was ironing, steaming clothes to make a YouTube video. And all the time that I was on here doing those YouTube videos, y'all didn't have a clue that I was sick as a dog, okay? Sick as a dog. A dog sick. And I didn't share it, I didn't tell it, like no one really knew that I was sick. But we give thanks, okay? So school called and they're like, we need to know if you are coming back for the new school year, which was gonna be August 2024. And so I was like, do I have to answer that question now? Because I promise you I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. It's like, it's for the first time, reality hit me that, oh girl, you're gonna have to decide if you're gonna go back to teach or you're going to continue with doing content creation full time. That was the day it hit me, and I sat down. I remember I sat down at, I have a bench in my hallway, and I sat down. I was like, oh my God. Oh no. And I started to think, I'm like, is this going the way I want it to go? Or am I gonna have to go back to teach? And I promise you that I serve a great, big, wonderful God. In that moment, in that very moment where I was second guessing myself, second guessing the business that He allowed me to build in that year, but at that time, I already made 6 figures. It was May of 2024, and I'd already made 6 figures creating content. Yes, I can say it loud now. But in that moment, I was like, I'm not gonna try to fly in God's face. He gave me this opportunity, and I am going to maximize it and use it to the best of my abilities until he says it is time for you to move on to something else. I was asked multiple times while I was teaching, why am I still teaching? I remember doing an interview with Simone on TVJ, which is Television Jamaica, and that was when I had done my Amazon drop, and she asked me, so Kerry, what are you waiting on to step out and do this full time? And I remember telling her, this was my exact answer, and I quote, I'm waiting for God to write me on Instagram at Castiles and tell me that it's time for you to step out on faith. I remember telling her that. So in that moment when I was questioning whether I should go back to my teaching job or whether I should continue to pursue this journey of being a full-time content creator, when I was finished ironing that, I had like a rack of clothes, I checked my email. I had not one, not two, but 3 campaigns in my inbox. 3 campaigns that all together I would have to work. 3 campaigns that was maybe more than a quarter or a half, more than a half of my full-time teaching job pay. And like I said before, by May, I had already made 6 figures. So why was I even questioning if this would work? And so I called her back and I told her, and I asked her, what is the, because I've never, I think I've only resigned from a job. That would be my second time resigning from a job. But I was working at the school board for multiple years now, and I just also renewed my teaching certificate, and I did not want to mess that up. So I want to know what is the best way possible for me to do this so that I can still maintain and have my teaching certificate, just in case I may have to go back. I serve a God that's not a just in case God, but I also want to be like, okay, let me secure myself, okay? So I just renewed my teaching certificate. So I had 5 years on it, brand new. And she was like, you would have to turn in a resignation letter just so they don't let you go, because that's going to be like a citation or ding on your file, and you don't want that. So I was like, I typed up, I called my best friend. I'm like, write me a resignation letter ASAP. And once you're done, just send it over to me so I can print it out and take it to the school board. And that's exactly what I did. And this 2025, August 2025, this is, I'm entering year 3 of being a full-time content creator, and God has never, and when I say never in all caps, failed me. Never. I thank him for his coverage. I thank him for his hands on my business, because he is in Jamaica, he's the head cook and buckle wash of this, okay? I'm only doing the job, but he is the CEO. Just FYI. Okay? So some people might ask, what's next? At the time of me making this video, I am not currently signed to management. I don't have management. I've been working on my own for the past 2 years. Last December, I hired an assistant, a virtual assistant, just to help me mostly with my LTK stuff, grabbing my links, posting actively on my Facebook, updating my blog, my newsletter. My assistant does my newsletters that come out to you each week. So I give her the information and she compiles and put it together for me. So I'm grateful for that. So I would say I have an employee right now. Well, two, because my husband is my employee as well. He's my photographer. Yeah, okay. I'm not make the man work for free. But we started this together even before we knew what it could be. So of course he's always gonna be a part of what I do, and I'm happy that he's able to just contribute in his own way to this business. I'm actively looking for management now, so that's what's on that's the goal for the rest of the year. I'm actively looking for management. But for right now, I do all the things myself, the negotiating, the pitching, the all the things that this entails. So that's that. We're heading to LTK Con and New York Fashion Week in September. So September is gonna be a roller coaster. Say a little word of prayer for me, please, because I am gonna need it. I can already feel my body quaking because, girl, and they're so close to each other. I'm gonna have to go from one to the other. So please cross your fingers and pray for me, okay? I'm not against prayer. I welcome it, actually. Do I see myself? I get this question all the time, especially at the top of the year whenever I go to help my husband with getting his classroom together for back to school. If you're new here, my husband is a teacher. He teaches 5th grade math. Sometimes I go in to like help him pull groups. It's the beginning of the school year, so not just yet. Maybe the end of September, October, thereabout. I'll go in to help him pull small group because we're both math eds, we're both math teachers. So, and once a teacher, always a teacher. I'm not ever gonna say, oh, I'm not a teacher. And also, I will never be the one that's gonna be like, oh, I will never go back to teach. Because baby, if tomorrow this isn't a thing anymore, best believe I will be strutting them always like I used to, dress from head to toe. In Jamaica we say dress no puss foot. Yeah. And be back in them classrooms doing the things, okay? So I would never come on here and be like, oh, I would never go back to teach. That will never be me. So no. But I do get the question all the time, would I go back to teach? It's not on the books right now. I can say that. But if it ever has to come down to that, yes, I would definitely go back to teach. I'm not against it at all, okay? And in this economy, listen, you better do what you need to do. Don't let anybody shame you into thinking that you can't go back to doing the things. Don't let anybody force you to get into something that you know that you and your pocket and your bank account isn't ready for, because trust me, having a business is hard. Okay? I've learned that having a business is hard. It is not easy at all, especially if you don't have help. I have an accountant, so I have a CPA. I made sure I hired a CPA. That I think that was the first hire I did, because the girl will spend the money. Okay, I work for it, I will spend it. Okay, so I knew I needed help in that department, so I hired someone who's versed, who's very capable of helping me to make the best of my money. Okay, and I encourage you to do the same as well. If this is something, if you have a business, I encourage you to get help from the people or places that you know that you are lacking and weak on. Okay, so I know I want to get management because I don't like to pitch, I don't like to go back and forth in the emails, but I also wanted to do this a little bit on my own, just so I can have like a comparison, like I made this much on my own. If you are gonna come in to my business, you're gonna have to bring some form of elevation to it. What is it that you're bringing to the table? I now have more knowledge on the industry and things that are taking place, that I can know what to ask for, what to look for, and know also what my business needs. This is not about, oh, it's a thing, everybody wants management. It's definitely not that for me. It is now I've gotten to the stage where I'm like, I need to get to the next level, and in order for me to get to the next level and to elevate, there are certain elements that I need to add to my business to help me to do that, if you understand what I'm saying. So that's that. The makeup is almost done. It's a light beat. All I'm doing today is creating content. So after I'm done talking to you, talk your ear off, I'm definitely gonna sit down and do another YouTube video that's gonna come after this, or maybe next week. But definitely the face is not going to waste. Okay, we're not wasting the makeup at all. Okay, and like I said, everything that I used in this video will be in the description box and linked. Also, you will also see it pop up on the screen while I'm using it, just so you can shop it while you're watching the video. So as I close, as I close, I want to say thank you to every single person who visits my channel, whether you watch regularly, whether you comment, whether you even like, even though I beg you and ask you to. Your engagement means the world to me. It's the fact that you are a part of this community why I am able to continue to do these things. I appreciate you guys more than you know. I would never, give me a minute. Bam. I would never be able to do this without you guys support. And so I know some of you are like, Kerry, you've said thank you so many times, and I'm grateful. I'm a grateful girl, a blessed girl, a grateful girl. You guys are the absolute best crew members. So if you're new here, welcome to the crew. Get yourselves comfortable. We also just made it to 60K. So like I said, if you are new here, welcome, 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 girlfriend. Welcome to the crew. Okay, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all so much more than you know. I'm gonna use this NYX Lip IV Hydrating Gloss Serum just to go over the brown lip liner, which was MAC Chestnut. Just to define it a little bit more. And then I'm gonna go in also again with NYX Professional Makeup Butter Gloss in the shade Spike Toffee. So this is the color of it, and I'm gonna put it in the center. And there you have it. This is the makeup look for today. I love it. Simple, easy, nothing too crazy. And this will definitely get me through the day with creating content. So I am gonna go create some content right now just so that you guys can always have something to watch. Because what is the reason, okay? But again, thank you guys so much for watching and sticking to the end. Me love when I like cook food, and if y'all watch my vlogs, if y'all ever watch any of my vlogs, then you know the girl love our belly, okay? I am greedy. So apart from me being extra, I'm greedy. Me love food. I am a foodie. But thank you so much. If you love the vibe, please make sure that you like and subscribe. I wanted to just elaborate on my post about me having fibroids, just so that you guys can get a better understanding of my situation. And also to let someone who's in the same situation, who's going through the same thing or similar, because everybody's case is different, that there is hope. There's a brighter day on the other side. You don't always have, you are not alone also, okay? You are not alone. Please get the help that you need. Speak with your doctors. And also don't be like me with not sharing or telling your family members what you are going through, because I did that, and for a long time my family didn't even know that I was suffering. I was suffering in silence, and that's not okay. Because if you don't let people know what is going on with you, then you cannot get help from them. So you're saying that you're alone and you're going through this alone, but you are not letting them in. You're not letting them know what you're going through. That's not good. Getting help is also good for your mental health, because it's not okay for you to just be there going through this all by yourself, okay? Reach out to me. Leave me, if you are on Instagram, you can send me a DM. I'll definitely send you a word of encouragement. I know some of us are not as open as I am, and we're not open to discussing our health issues online, because we're like, oh, this is private. But we grew up in that era where we're like, this is private, this is nobody's business. I'm not telling you to tell me every single detail, your doctor's name, the this, the that, none of that. But at least speak to someone who you trust, that is going to give you the assurances, and also pray with you, help you to go to your doctor's appointment, whatever it is. It's the little things, okay? It's the little things that counts. So thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much. Please like and subscribe. Come back for another video. The fashion videos are coming back, but I need to have a woman to woman, okay? Let's have a woman to woman, not in that way, but let's talk about some things, and that's what this video was all about. So I'll catch you guys in another one, but until then, be good. Mwah.